let's have a look at the squad. There is no Pat Cummins for them, which of course is big news because Pat Cummins did well for them in the last IPL, not the last installment, the last IPL. I remember batting at 7, got a 50 as well at that time. They do have Lockie Ferguson, who, you've got Tim Southee who's coming in, of course. Tim Southee, great experienced campaigner. But their problems are not in the bottom 5, are they? Their problems have been in the top 6. One season, you have 4, 5, 6 who work and 1, 2, 3 don't. In one season, 1, 2, 3 are scoring and 4, 5, 6. As a cohesive batting unit, Joy, they have to come together.
Yeah, the truth of every IPL from 2008 onwards is 1, 2 and 3 have to give you a substantial number of runs. And if you see the pedigree of the batsman batting at 1, 2, 3, your 4, 5 and 6 are Dinesh Karthik, Owen Morgan and Andre Russell. That's terrific, phenomenal pedigree. Your first 3 are Shubman Gill, Rahul Tripathi and Nitish Rana. And all of them are young batsmen who are trying at their very best. I do not doubt their ability at all. I don't doubt their, talent. They're trying their best. But are they the best 3 batsmen in the team? They're not. And I believe that if the best 3 batsmen cannot get the maximum number of balls, it tends to be a problem. Shubman has not been the batsman. They've really believed in Shubman. They've really invested in him. And he's simply that 117 strike rate for an opener is a travesty. You cannot play at 117. And you know what the funny thing about Shubman is? You'll say that he'll hit one shot that will make you think this guy is pure utter class. And then he'll get out and you'll wonder, what was he doing? He's an infuriating player just because he's so talented. But if 1, 2 and 3 are not giving you runs, I would, in fact, if I had to even resuscitate the season, do something, I'd tell Dinesh Karthik, go bat at 3. Go bat at 3. Go in there, bat at 3. You're our best batsman. You have so many international games behind you. Go bat at 3 and see what you can do for the team. Because it's certainly you can't expect these 3 young kids to deliver for you and expect to win a season.
I see a point. What if you say Morgan as captain, play at 3? Dinesh Karthik always seems to flower when you kind of punch him into a corner, right? We always talk about how DK does really well when, there's not too much time. You put him and throw him in the deep end. Some people are just better deep end swimmers than shallow end swimmers. DK just seems to have specialized in that, likes that role, wants to play that role. What if Morgan it seems like Morgan keeps pushing himself down. Dhoni can afford to do that in a Chennai where you're batting till 10, 11, sometimes even 12. But with Kolkata, you can't, Harsha. Morgan perhaps has to take more responsibility and say, let me steer the innings at 3.
And somebody has to, because as Joy said, we saw the numbers for Shubman Gill, 117 strike rate. But Nitish Rana and Rahul Tripathi also scoring about 120, 122 strike rate.
120, 125. Yeah.
So you're getting a traffic jam at the top. So either of Sunil Narayan or Shakib, whoever's playing, maybe Sunil Narayan, maybe just say, okay, listen, go back there. I know bouncy pitches. I know they'll start bouncing Sunil Narayan. But if he comes off in 2 games out of 7, he comes off 3 games out of 7, that's wow. But if he comes off, he'll do that for you. But they need somebody there. I agree with Morgan, but see what he's doing at England as well. Even at England, when Ben Stokes plays, some days he was batting at 6, with Stokes at 5. Or in England, he's batting at 5.
That's a different batting lineup altogether, isn't it? That
I agree. That's a fair
point. Batting order. So it's like
horses. But he's got
horses,
to. I also believe in something very interesting. Brendan McCullum's been going on and on. He said, I was doing one of the post-match shows the day that Harpreet Brar took all those wickets, and he said, I think we're that close to coming back, but they have to play without fear. And the coach is trying to get them to play the way he played, without fear, and saying, just go for it. We'll bat down to 7, 8. Go for it. And he's getting a bit frustrated that is not happening. I mean, he said Shubman Gill is going to be captain of India one day, but he's got to learn to play without fear. And that is what I think he wants from them. So if that point is driven home, you might just see, look, there's a team that's nothing to lose situation at the moment, which is when you're most dangerous. Nothing to lose. I mean, no one's expecting Kolkata to qualify for the playoffs. So it might as well just go boom, 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 and see what happens.
That is the thing that you talk about, security given to players, right? So with the Kolkata Joy, we noticed this problem that their batting order was becoming like a revolving door, right? You just had no idea who's going to come out in what position, except Shubman Gill, where they said that we're going to give you the opener position and that stays. But that security as well has not really paid dividends to Kolkata, as you can see with that 117 strike rate. He is, as you say, he is sublime. When he hits that shot, you're like, throw the textbook out, because this is a living interpretation of that textbook, right? And they're not getting that, but they definitely don't need that revolving door as well. They have to pass that security down, I guess, to everyone. So sort it out. Are you going with Narayan as opener? Because there are times when Narayan has played as opener where they said, you're going to play the season, or you're going to play 10 games, 12 games out of the season. Sort it out, set it up. Of course, then you can move, Russell when there's 2 overs left, or, as opposed to somebody else. But actually have that batting order a little more etched in stone than they were doing in the previous season.
I think in this season, they were actually trying to use that same first year and saying, we are giving you the security, keep playing. They were these guys were just not delivering for them. And see, I completely subscribe to what Harsha is saying, that McCullum is the kind of coach who plays best with his back to the wall. They have their backs to the wall now. There's no doubt about it. 2-5, you lose a couple more games, you're out of this tournament. So all I'm saying is, I would throw the heavy artillery, because again, remember one more thing. The other huge impact this season has is, after this season, all bets are off. It's a mega auction. Everything changes. Almost the entire composition of the team changes. So you can turn around. So you're not disturbing any long-term plans. You're telling guys saying, look, we have nothing to lose. Next year, half of you, 90% of you may not be back. Why don't you go and play? Sunil, go up front and prove to them that you can be an opener. Okay? Shubman, I don't care if you get out for 0 every match. I want your strike rate not to be below 150 for every match. I'm going to put a gun to their heads and say, go do it. And maybe, just maybe, you need a couple of lucky breaks and things just turn your way. It's been known to happen.
Look what happens when you get a sensitive, poetic soul going from Kolkata to Gurgaon. He's suddenly talking of putting guns to people's heads.
Gurgaon in him.
The good thing for Kolkata, though, is that Sunil Narayan is bowling those 4 overs 14, 4 overs 18 again in the CPL at least. I mean, there was one game where the side playing against him made 200 and he had 4 overs 15 or something like that. So 4 overs 14. So he's bowling well again. I saw a 13 ball, 14 ball, 30 as well. So maybe, I just go for it. I mean, people will bounce him, but bother, he'll get top edges.
Let's have a look at the Kolkata squad again, one quick, because you have Lockie Ferguson there. They've not been using Lockie Ferguson. They have to, right? You'd want to give him these 7 games, because the other pace bowlers are inexperienced compared to...
No, they got Tim Southee therefore.
To him. Yeah, they've got Tim Southee as well. Don't know whether that will happen or not, because you're obviously playing the captain and you're playing Russell in every game, right? Then if you play Sunil Narayan, you're playing. So 3 of their spots tend to get taken, normally in the top 6 or 7. So therefore, your bowlers predominantly have to be Indian. And you'd want to, if you would just pick one foreign pace bowler, Joy, would you go for Lockie or would you go for Tim Southee?
Depending on the conditions, but I would generally, I believe Southee gives you more wickets. Lockie's a faster bowler. He's a more intimidating bowler. But I still would back Tim Southee simply because of the experience he has playing the IPL. I think he's an old hand. He's played for Mumbai. He's been around. I would like Tim Southee back in the role. I'm wondering, they're Indian fast bowlers. They've got Prasidh Krishna, who's now stepped into it. The other thing that you just look at and say, with all that money, with all that talent, I mean, a side that is 2-5 and Kuldeep Yadav doesn't get a chance, it's just a travesty of justice for me.